why most winery Instagram accounts just don't work. A lot of winery accounts still are stuck in 2018, some even in 2012. Social media has massively changed, and today I'm going to share with you what to do about it and what's actually working right now. Welcome back to the podcast or the YouTube. If you're following along on YouTube, make sure to subscribe so you can up-level your online marketing for 2026 and beyond. And if you're listening on the podcast, then you can find us on YouTube if you'd like to see visuals that go along with this audio. Otherwise, just pop your headphones in because you're going to learn a bunch no matter what channel you are tuning in from. So before we dive into today's session, I want to talk a little bit more about the objective of Instagram, because I think that there is a lot of misconception around what Instagram actually can do for a winery and what it can't do for a winery. I hear a lot of people say, oh, we were on Instagram, but it didn't really work, or yeah, we have someone managing our Instagram. They're not really a professional, but they're creating content and they're getting stuff out there, or we don't even really know what the reason is why we're on Instagram. And that one is probably the hardest one for me to hear, because our time is so incredibly precious in the wine world, in any business world, really. You only have a limited amount of hours in the day, of resources. We all know that there can be quite small margins in wine. So we really want to make sure that we are squeezing as much of the grape juice as we possibly can, pardon the pun. But that's how I really look at the online space and being on these different platforms, whether it is Instagram or LinkedIn or email or wherever you are. We want to make sure that we're really leveraging it in a way that is going to move the bottom line. So I want you guys to really start thinking about what your objective is on Instagram. Is it just to gain more awareness in your local area? That's a great objective, and that's going to help guide your entire strategy when it comes to what to post, when to post, how much to post, etc., etc. Are you really events driven and your main goal of Instagram is to let your community know when your events are, how many events you're having that month, what the events are for, who would enjoy coming to the events? That's going to help you also create your content strategy, right? And it's also going to help you limit the amount of links and places that you're actually driving people to after your Instagram. So, you only have a finite number of links you can add into your Instagram account. And if you're like driving people everywhere, then you're likely driving them nowhere. So if you have a really specific purpose of using Instagram to drive people to your events, then you want to make sure your bio is completely optimized just for your events. So I think if there's anything you can take away from this session, it's to be able to have an objective. Start thinking about what that one objective is for your account, and then you can start curating your strategies and your content plan all around what that main objective is. And then it's also easier to track. It's easier to understand conversions. It's easier to understand, is this working? Air quotes, is this working or not? So let's dive first into size, because a lot of smaller wineries actually have a massive advantage right now. And I know that you'll say, oh, but we don't have a team. We don't have people to manage our marketing. And these big brands, they have these huge marketing teams. So they're going to always be one up on us. Actually, when it comes to social media, that is a massive advantage for you as a small team to be leveraging this in a much more strategic and authentic way. Because people don't want to be on Instagram and be watching some corporate marketer give a spiel on different wine regions and grapes. Yes, there is a place for that. But for a smaller brand, people just want connection. They want to really understand the person behind the brand. They want to know who the winemaker is. They want to see the mishaps that are happening in the winery. They want to see the mistakes. They want to see the humanness. And it's so much easier to do that when you are in a small team, and it doesn't have to be curated. The least polished, I can tell you, I run a lot of Instagram ads and social media campaigns for wineries, and the best performing content is the most candid content. It's the raw footage, it's the things that haven't been edited, haven't been scripted. So that's where you have a massive advantage. So I want you to get that out of your head, that because you don't have a big team, you can't use or utilize Instagram in a strategic way to grow your business. That kind of gets me into my next point, which is raw video content. We're seeing so much more raw video content. I don't know if you've spent that much time on TikTok, but TikTok has really changed the game for Instagram and changed the culture for Instagram. Yes, there is a place for some of the polished and professional photography, but really raw video content is what performs best time and time again. So I just want you guys to start thinking about documenting. Like, how can you document your day? How can you document being out in the vineyard and looking at what's happening this week? Is it bud burst? Are you guys pruning? Is it harvest time? Just sharing like you would on FaceTime with a friend what is happening in the vineyard. Say your friend calls you, hey, what are you up to? I'm just out in the vines. What's going on out there? Oh, just had bud break. We just had a massive storm come through last week, and luckily it gave the vines the exact things that they needed. It didn't damage too much, which I'm really happy about, and just checking it out. These are the things that you can share on Instagram in the most candid ways that can be really powerful, also depending on what your objective is. Again, the cellar door experience. Sit the camera down like they're a guest at the cellar door. Pour some wines, walk through like when this one was made, what the year was like that year. They're not going to try it, but you can kind of talk them through the aromas and what you're tasting and what you would pair it with. So sit that camera down and run a tasting through with them. The next way to be leveraging Instagram, which is so underutilized in the wine world, is for lead generation. Instagram is great for brand awareness. It's great for sharing your story. It's great for building a community. But I want you to think, after you have that community, what's the next step in their relationship with you? This is when you start talking about an ecosystem and making sure that all of your individual channels actually work together and feed one another. So your Instagram should be growing your email list, and your email list should be growing your club signups. So once you start looking at it like, I don't like the term funnel, I like more of an ecosystem, because all of the channels interact with each other in a different way. But this is when you start getting more strategic with your content. So a great way to do this is with keywords. So you do have to use an external platform to set up something like keywords. We use Klaviyo because Klaviyo is our number one favorite email marketing software, and it comes with a bunch of features like this keyword feature I'm talking about. There's other ones like ManyChat. There are other third parties, and I'm pretty sure Instagram is probably going to release a feature like this in the future. Don't quote me on that. This is just my spidey senses sensing this. But you can set up keywords in your Klaviyo that attach to different email flows. So you could have one that's like welcome, a keyword welcome, which is attached to your welcome series. You could have a keyword that's like organic, which attaches to your organic wine series. You could have a keyword that's Shiraz and it links to an automation that talks all about just your Shiraz. You can get so creative with this, but it's the easiest way to generate leads, because basically your audience member will just comment a word like organic. You can see on this example here, we're talking about just vintage that went past, and message us the keyword organic to receive our 5-part email series. So what actually happens after this is they will comment the keyword. Let's say it's Shiraz, to learn more about Barossa Shiraz. And Instagram will automatically send them a message like, hey, Sally, thanks so much for wanting to learn more about our Shiraz. Could you share with us the best email address that we can use to send you more information about it? And then they will comment their email address and they will go into your flow, your automation in your backend, which you've probably built in Klaviyo at this point. If you don't know much about automations, these are just like customer journeys. They're basically email campaigns, but email campaigns that have been pieced together in a flow, in an automation, in a series that guides your audience through the customer journey that you want to take them on. So basically getting them to know and trust you, getting them familiar with your brand, what you're about, and why it's important to the person that's in your funnel. So let's take a step back and look at this flow. So basically, step one, the viewer watches your reel or your photo on Instagram. They see that they can comment a keyword because you've had that in the text on the call to action or on the cover of the reel. Instagram sends them a DM, a message automatically. The message collects their email address. The email address gets sent to Klaviyo. Klaviyo triggers the series, the welcome series, the Shiraz series, the organic series. And now your Instagram is actively growing your email list. So you can see, if you're following this on YouTube, this example here of this automated message that gets sent. The contact has sent their email address, which is blurred out for privacy reasons. Another automated message happens through Instagram just saying, thank you for joining us. Please check your email to confirm. Your first note will follow shortly. And then the rest of the communication happens in email. Now, you can also build this into more automations in messages in Instagram if you want to get really complex about it. But this is probably just a good beginner starting point. So number 3 seems so incredibly simple, but I want to ask you, when was the last time you actually looked at your own profile? When was the last time you actually saw what the bio says? When was the last time you looked at what links are in your bio? Do the links even work? Because I can tell you the amount of times I've gone to businesses' Instagrams who are actively posting content, but their links are not even there, or I can't even click anything. I can't even go to their website if I wanted to. So a lot of wineries focus on posting more and more, but they're not actually optimizing what's already there. So a couple of things that you want to look at. Number 1 is your bio. You clearly want to explain who you are, what makes your winery different, and why someone should follow you. So for this client, for us, they make custom wine and beer. They help customers make their own custom wine and beer. A few great value points is that their clients get to save up to 75% versus the liquor store prices or the bottle shop, whatever, wherever you're located in the world, you can have a different name for it. They also have free tastings every Friday. And they also have DM, so send a message, $20 bonus for a free gift to get started. So this is a automation that we've set up to encourage Instagram followers to go to the next step in their funnel. Give the email address over for the $20 bonus or the free gift. So you want to make sure that you're not just creating a bio that is 5th generation winemaking family in the Barossa Valley. Try and extend that a little bit further. What's different about your wine compared to everybody else in your area? What's something you're really known for What's a value that your audience could also share as well? And a call to action. What should they do? Now that they're reading your bio, they're on your account, maybe it's just follow for more, follow us, follow the journey, something that encourages people to actually stick around. Again, your links, don't just link to your website. Make sure that your links fit the strategy and the objective of having an Instagram account in the first place. If you are using this to drive events, make sure all of your events are linked there. That should be where this is your primary real estate. So match the primary objective with what you want on your primary real estate. Do you have any lead magnets? Do you have any free guides? If you haven't seen my video or listened to the episode all about lead magnets and how to create an audience that is strategic and an audience that is actually going to want to become a customer and buy your wine, then make sure that you watch that video, which I'll link, or the podcast I'll link in the description below. And lastly, just a couple of tips here. Your highlights, amazing real estate to showcase any reviews, any accolades. This is where you can talk more about yourself and more social proof, more if you've got critic reviews and stuff like that. Not everyone's going to be interested, but it is a great place to add that. You can meet the team and maybe put some more stories around the brand, the people behind the brand, who makes up the team. And then another thing is the keywords. So next to your name, a lot of people don't know this, but this is great SEO real estate as well. So say you have the name of your business, in this case it's Vinum Milton. Then next to it, I've got make your own wine and beer. Because when people are actually searching on Instagram, if they type make my own wine or wineries in McLaren Vale or best cellar door in Woodinville, like these are the things that people are typing in on Instagram, or cellar doors in Woodinville, for example. If you have those words in your name, you're going to come up first. That's just like a little tactical tip. I got plenty of those, but I don't want to get too much into the weeds in this video, but that is also a great thing to do. Now, lastly, just with optimizing your account, like even if you don't want to have an Instagram strategy, guys, if you don't want to use that channel, if you're just like, no, it doesn't fit in with our ecosystem, it's not driving the bottom line, we don't have an objective for it, you still want to make sure that it's just set up properly. Just set it up like you would a website, because people are going to go into your Instagram to validate you. If they have heard about the winery and they want to come book a tasting, they're probably in this day and age going to look at your Instagram and just confirm that it is what they want to do. So just make sure that, like what we covered in the previous part, all the bios up to date, the links are up to date, highlights are up to date. And then the most important thing are going to be the top 9 posts on your feed. As long as you just have 9 curated posts that really go into detail about who you are, your winery philosophy, your story and your values, what makes you unique, then that's going to be super, super important. If sustainability matters to you, if organics really matters to you, showcase that. If you're really known for Rhone Reds and you're located in Washington, make sure that is in your top 9. If you have experiences at your winery, if you do have events, if you do have concerts on, if you do have special like vineyard tours or offers, make sure that they are in your top 9 posts. Because the last thing that you want is for someone to have heard about you or starting to plan a trip to your area and they put you on their list to come visit, and then they head to your Instagram and they see half done Instagram with one post that was posted in 2018, and the doubt starts to creep in. Is this winery still around? It's so easy for someone to make that assumption that you guys are not really active anymore, so you might not be around, and then they prioritize someone else. So just a quick recap: raw human video content all the way, small teams, you guys have leverage on this. Large teams, keep it raw. Don't turn it into a magazine spread. keep it real. 2, lead generation through keywords and automations. Use your Instagram strategically. Make sure that you're offering people the option to head to the next step to build the relationship further with you. 3, optimize your profile properly. Just get it nice. Get it like your website, get it like your cellar door. You wouldn't have people walk into your cellar door and you've just got no staff members, rubbish on the floor, old magazines from 2016. Maybe you do. Maybe they're really good decanter ones or something, but you get the point. And build content that feeds into a larger marketing ecosystem or just a larger ecosystem in general. Make sure that you have an objective and you're following that objective. That's how you can measure it. That's how you can see if Instagram is quote unquote working or not. Social media is not about looking pretty anymore. It used to be. Now it should be growing an audience, deepening customer relationships, and ultimately growing your brand and winery long term. So I hope you guys got some value today, and I'll see you either on the next episode or in the next video.